Good evening, friends. It's Marianne Goldweber, owner of a Village Personal and Spiritual Development Center, coming to you live tonight from my video podcast called Marianne's House. So, thanks for joining me. We're in our Village Center tonight. It's so peaceful down here. So, I wanted to talk tonight about inspiration and some news and things that are going on, and how to stay inspired in spite of the craziness that's going on in our world. So if you want to grab your notebook and your cuppa, we'll talk a little bit about how the universe inspires us. So let me know when you join me. So as spiritual beings in this human life, we're born with a divine connection that we never lose. And the challenge is that we haven't been taught how to really listen, or what it is, or how it works. And we've been separated from it quite a bit. So you don't really hear it. It's an inner knowing that you might want to call your consciousness, or your conscience, or your little voice, or your inner knowing, your gut feeling. All of those things are words that people use to describe this internal knowing or communication, which is actually an inspiration from the other side. All our ancestors, relatives, and so forth that are working for your highest and best. So we're all on a secret mission. So the inspirations that you may receive may be different from the way the messages that I get, but because they know you, and it's specific to you and where you are in your life, the talents that you have, the opportunities that are coming for you. And so they're always trying to inspire us or get us kind of motivated, you know. The challenge is we kind of blow those off because it's sometimes contrary to what we see in our human reality. So, you know, it was interesting. When I first started on this path, they were telling me that I was going to create a village. You know, this knowing told me that, well, I channel for myself, so I actually wrote this down. And so it would, you know, this inspired thoughts would come through, and I actually wrote it down and developed a dialogue with this, with my guides and helpers on the other side. And so I was always being drawn to service my whole life. And I had done a lot of service. I worked in service industries. I did a lot of outreach. I did volunteerism. And so when the universe, I left corporate, not by necessarily choice. I physically could not continue that. And I was inspired by my hobby to create a retail location, a business. Now, it didn't start out that way. You know, so the inspired thing was, you know, you can make things, you could sell things, you could go to craft shows, you can, you know, and so I took my hobby and I trusted that inspiration, and I started making products that I could do that wasn't full-time employment in the corporate world, which I could not go back to physically. Okay, so it was something that I could do that was not as labor intensive as, you know, computer work and phones and files and all that. So anyway, so it was interesting because I took my hobby and all these things just started coming to me, like, you know, where do you buy these things? Where do you get the supplies for these things? And these were questions basically that the universe was giving me that I would have to go look up. And so they don't just give you the answers, which is kind of interesting. They were like, okay, well, if you're going to make these things, where do you buy these things? You know? And so I went onto this like research driven, quest to find the things I needed in order to, make the things that I started out making with my hobby of herbs and teas and culinary spices and, you know, craft projects. So anyway, so that inspired thought was more of a question than an answer. And so the question posed to me is, well, what are you going to do now that you're not working in that environment anymore. So that was the inspired thought. It was a question. And so I sat with that. So we talk about this a lot. So sitting with it means sitting still, and writing down, the answers to that question. And I thought, well, what am I going to do, now that I'm not doing that anymore to support myself and my son, at the time. And so it started this, I have the notebook. Okay. It's actually a 3-ring binder, and it's called Dreams, Inspirations, Aspirations. And I wrote all over it and I decorated it, and I filled it with loose leaf paper, and I just started literally dumping or downloading the information and the research in order to start that, initially. And so I was looking up vendors, I was looking up, rules, I was looking up, what do I need to do? Craft shows, where can I sell these things at? So the questions that kept coming were the inspiration. So where would you do this? What does that look like? Do you really need a brick and mortar place? So these were the inspired questions that the universe was sending me. And it was up to me to sit with that and to, answer those questions. And if I didn't know, then I would look it up and I would research it. So I think sometimes we mistake the inspiration for them just to give you an idea. It's not just an idea. Sometimes it's a question. It has you looking at where you're at and what you have to work with. And it poses you sometimes a question, that you have to answer. And so learning to sit with that, and then I would just write down all my ideas. So then the inspiration triggered all these ideas and things that I could do, because I was at that point physically incapable of doing a lot of things. And I went through a horrible grief process, because there were a lot of things that I couldn't do anymore. But I wasn't really looking at, I may have limitations, but there are things that I can still do. And so I completely reinvented myself. And it was a process. It took me about a year after I had back-to-back surgeries. I had a baby. I had all kinds of things going on. But this inner inspired questions began. Well, you don't have this, but what do you have? What talents do you have? What are you good at? What do you enjoy? So these were the inspired questions that led me on the most amazing, journey of self-discovery. Because again, I lived in the corporate world. I didn't see myself capable of basically anything else at that point, because it was all I really knew. But as I was getting inspired with this line of questioning, it had me stopping and really looking at, where am I at? What do I have to work with? What do I enjoy? What can I do that's going to generate revenue? And these were the questions that were given to me through that inspired thought from the universe. And then that research, had me looking at, a lot of things that I would never have looked at otherwise. So when I look at that time where I was forced into change, okay, I had no idea that I was not going to be able to go back to the career that I knew at the time, but it became more and more obvious that there was just absolutely no way physically that I was going to be able to do that. And that was a bit of a destruction of my identity, because that was, I worked, went home, it was a lot. It was a lot of my life. And so it had me really sitting with and reevaluating, where am I at? What do I have? And what can I work with? And it sent me on this beautiful journey of discovery. In fact, it was really funny because this really cool book came into my awareness. And it was full of all kinds of great ideas and someone who had already done it. And so it gave me kind of a little bit of a blueprint about, what that looks like. So ultimately, I really did eventually want to open a brick and mortar store, a place. And that wasn't on the radar initially, but I knew within a year that I would really like to have a brick and mortar place. And so that was another thing that I put onto my, into this big dream, manifestation, book that I made, this workbook. And so again, so what did I need to do for that? So these were things that I could sit with and reflect on and listen to that inner guidance, and then go on a bit of a discovery about where that is, what that looks like, So sometimes the inspiration isn't just giving you a good idea. Sometimes they're giving you questions so that you can ask yourself the questions I ask myself. Well, what can you do? With what you have. What are your talents? What do you enjoy? And so when I sat with those things, I realized that these were aspects of myself that I had not really investigated in a very long time. I wasn't making time for doing anything creative when this project was completely creative. I was manufacturing all the things that I made and sold. And and I also started gardening again because I didn't have time when I was working in that corporate place to garden. And so it was so funny because everything changed all within 1 year. So I left a 20-year career. I found out I was going to have my son. We bought a house. Okay. We closed on the house literally the day he was born. Okay. And so we were moving, and there was a lot going on. And then I get all this news that there's no way I'm going to be able to go back to that career. And so there was a lot of upheaval. And again, most of my identities were tied to those things. So the universe was constantly trying to give me a heads up. They were constantly trying to get my attention. And there was so much chaos going on around me that I really had to take space. So taking space is removing yourself from chaos in order to sit with or be still with the questions that come and the inspired things that come from the universe. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. So everybody has a talent. Everybody has things that they're good at or they enjoy. But so often we've been doing things that are not really in alignment with who we are. So when things change, sometimes we don't seem to have other options. And change is constant, guys. You'll reinvent yourself so many times in this lifetime. And nothing stays the same. The things I made agreements to when I was 28 years old and were not where I was at when I was 35, when all of this stuff happened. So it was interesting because I would never have seen myself that way. But the universe had to kind of upheave my illusion of what my life was and show me the flaws parts of it that weren't really working, is no matter how hard I tried to keep it together and not take those hints from the universe about things that are going to change. I didn't want that to happen. But what I wanted and what I needed and what was best was way better and bigger than I could have ever imagined. And so your talents, your experience, and are being inspired by your loved ones, guides, and ancestors on the other side. They're trying to give us those good ideas and those questions about, well, what do you want? What does that look like? Where are you? What needs to change? What needs to go away? Making peace with those things. And so it takes a process of being still or sitting with it. Okay. Now, you don't want to ever be forced into stillness. I was forced into stillness. Okay. They took away the use of my hands and gave me a baby simultaneously. Okay. I was so incapable of doing anything but taking care of those things that I had no choice but to be still. And that's when I finally had to look at the state of my life. And no matter how desperately I tried to get back to the way it was, that was not going to happen. And getting this internal guidance, this ongoing encouragement from the universe, telling me truths that I didn't want to hear, you can plug your ears and you go, la, 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 and it's still happening anyway. Okay. So this is a wonderful time right now. There's a lot of change going on in our world. A lot of truths are being revealed. And there's a lot of people that are being inspired to do new and cool things that are bringing this world together. And so, you're planted where you're at. I'm planted where I'm at. And this is a time of great truth and great change. And so it's asking us to be still and listen, to trust that inner guidance, to look at where we're at, the talents that we have, what we bring to the table. And the minute we shift our perspective, new things start to just appear, like that book. And then it was really funny because the store actually appeared 1 year to the day that I wrote that I was going to open a retail location. And the funny thing is, it was directly across the street from where Jared's dad was working. And I looked out the window and I saw this gentleman hanging a for rent sign on this building. And I said, watch Jared, I gotta go. And I ran across the street and it just manifested. It appeared right in front of me. And I had said, through this whole 1 year process of reevaluating, doing my research, creating this beautiful dream manifestation journal that I still have. There were things in there that I could do right away, and there were ideas and things in there that I couldn't do until later, but it was all in one place. And so sometimes in order to create stillness, you have to keep the physical body busy. This is where we talk about meditation, or sometimes people use chanting, or they use art like drawing mandalas, something that keeps the physical body busy while your mind is journeying and being inspired and getting all this input and good ideas. So when I'm doing, let's say I'm doing a mandala, and while I'm doing that, I'm open to the creative flow, and I'm open to impressions from the universe and my helpers. I have my pen and paper next to me, and I jot down all these wonderful inspirations that are coming through while I'm in the process of just, coloring this mandala. Chanting is another wonderful way to some people enjoy that, so again, I always keep pen and paper next to me. So, something rhythmic. So chanting like Om, Om, Om. And when you sit and you can do that, there's a lot of YouTube videos if you're looking for chants, things that we can do in meditation, or listening to chants while you're just being still, and have your pen and paper there, and eventually you start, really disconnecting a little bit from this chatter of this human world, and you start really hearing this repeat message that keeps coming through that over and over, and you just write down those inspired ideas. And then again, guys, there's a lot of truths being revealed right now about who you are and where you're at and what's working in your life and what isn't working. The systems that we've become dependent on aren't functioning properly. They never really functioned well. And people have realized how dependent they are and how much of their own autonomy has been given away by being dependent on some of these things. So a lot of the old ways went by the wayside, learning how to grow food, can food, how to preserve food, and how much do we really need, to have. And so it's just really a time of really looking at the things that we've become dependent on, and that we're not as self-reliant as we like to think we are. And so there's a lot of change going on, and every single one of us is being inspired. Every single one of us is being asked to change, and change is not a bad thing. Sometimes it's just about peeling off old things that just aren't ever who we were, and it's revealing some new and beautiful aspects of us that we can share with each other. And it inspires other people when we go first and we start making those changes. So that's basically what I want to talk about tonight. So we have some news. I have Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays available for private events. Now, guys, having a party of your own, it's only $30 per person if you have 12 people. And if you have like 8 or 10, it goes up to 50, but I'm sorry, 40. So anyway, having your own private session with your friends and family and folks that you love is such an inspirational thing. And it's so much fun because not only are you getting your own message, but you get to hear all the messages that are coming for your friends. You know, the things that you always tell them that they don't listen to you. Well, I'll come along and their grandpa will tell them the same damn thing. And that's fun. Okay. It's a lot of fun to be in those environments. And then you all get to be inspired together. So when you leave here, you guys have each other and you can, start inspiring one another. Keep that going and start making those changes in your own worlds. So as a group, so have a channeling event. There's so much fun. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be at Project White Butterflies Recovery Collective on Ridge Road. I offer a free workshop mini class every other Thursday, and so if you go to my page, it'll show the topic for tomorrow night. I believe and they're recovery centered, but not. I mean, we're all recovering, guys, from something. Okay, and it's a wonderful communal space, but it's about how to connect with your higher power. How to learn to trust and build a relationship with your higher power. And so again, we do have lovely, amazing people and things on the other side that are trying to guide us, trying to inspire us. And they're in a new version now, and they see so much more than we can see from this place in our world. And so they're always, in spite of the human stuff, there are better ways to go. There are opportunities that will be presented, but we have to change how we look at it and build that trusting relationship. Having faith and applying it are two very different things. So yes. So Tuesday nights, I also have virtual classes. Now I'm going to be putting those on social media. They rotate every Tuesday night. It's at 7:00 and they're all on Zoom. Okay. You can come in person, but, I'm doing them all on Zoom for now. And, it's easy at 7:00 to just, get your cuppa, turn on Zoom and sit, in this wonderful group and we'll talk about dreams. We talk about self-care and service. We talk about defining our relationships. Some of these classes / workshops, which are much longer, they're much more in depth than the ones I offer, at the Recovery Collective, when I do some of those. But once you have those tools, then you can start really listening in dream time. You can really start creating peace in your life and learning how to take care of yourself and how to attract better, loving relationships in your world. So, the classes are amazing. They're only $25. And so, right now sessions are $60 for an hour virtually. And so this is a wonderful time because Pluto is retrograde till October. So there's a lot of truths being revealed. There's, our feet are getting held to the fire when it comes to integrity and, discernment of who and what we're aligning with. So it's very important to, have these things in your arsenal so that when these things happen, you know what to do. So yes, so Pluto is retrograde until October. I did a big write-up on it, but if you go to astrologyking.com and look up Pluto retrograde, it'll offer you a lot of really good insight and understanding on that. So let's see who's here tonight. I'm so grateful you guys joined me. Well, hey, Barb, it's so good to see you. Hey, Rudy, Denise, you guys are so cute that you join separately. Hey, Jack, thanks for joining me. It's good to see you. This thing does not scroll right, guys, I'm telling you. Hey, Diane. Hey, Stephanie. So, yeah, guys, there's a lot going on, but there's always a spiritual solution. These things created in this human world are man-made. And it's this, the universe gives us enough rope to hang ourselves. Okay, really. And so again, once you have the understanding of how the universe works, that the spiritual thing runs above all this human created crap, things go smoother. They really do. When we disengage from the energy, when we can learn how energy works, which is the empath class, the service class, when you understand energy and how it works, it's easier to detach yourself from it and go, not my monkeys, not my circus. Okay. But it's purposeful because when you don't subscribe to it, you're not getting caught in the chaos. And so, we can find a way around the chaos and get things done in spite of everybody running around with their hair on fire. I swear, it's amazing. You guys are so cute, Rudy. It's so good to see you. And guys, thank you so much for following me. If you guys get anything from these videos, you're welcome to go to my Venmo and drop me, a donation if you'd like to. I would prefer that you buy a gift certificate. Get yourself a gift certificate. You can buy them. They're good for 3 months at a time. And that really helps me be able to do what I need to do, not only here, but out there in the world. There's a lot of services that I offer that I don't charge for. And so you guys are supporting me, and I support others. So, it's the trickle down. It's the pay it forward. And so, or if you know someone who could really use some one-on-one time, get them a gift certificate and, gift that to them. And, nobody's gonna listen to you. So sometimes they'll hear it from me, say the same damn thing. And the universe is repeating the same message, whether it's to them direct, to me, through you, and eventually it resonates, So the gift of inspiration is a wonderful thing, because sometimes you just need someone who is objective, who's not going to judge you for where you're at or how you got there. Okay. We've all done dumb things that got us in a pickle. Okay. And it doesn't really matter as long as we learn from it. But how we got there. But the bigger question is, what are we going to do now? So let's create a game plan. So that's quite often what we're dealing with is grief and having to navigate without whatever, whether it's a person or a situation, that we're redefining and evolving, that we're becoming, And so there's a lot going on, but there are spiritual solutions to all of it. And so I'm just so incredibly grateful for you guys. So tomorrow, or Friday, tomorrow is Project White Butterflies Recovery Collective and my class there at 7:00. And so stay tuned on the website. I'm doing website updates, and so I'm redoing most of the website so that it's more concise, and you can see the classes and the events and all the things that I'm going to be having going on. Please give me a call. If you don't just text me, guys, I get so many messages on every platform that if you want to book something with me, it's best if you just call me directly. 216-324-2657. Hey, Karen, I hope you're feeling better. And so it's so good to see you guys. Do you guys have any questions? Let's see who's here. Rudy, there's a woman like Mother here for you. And she's reminding you to take your vitamins. She's reminding you to take something regularly. So I don't know if that's a medication or it's vitamins, or did you fall off the wagon, buddy, and not taking your supplements? Okay, so Mom's reminding you that you've not been taking care of your whatever supplement, medication, nutrient thing that you're not doing for yourself. So anyway. So that's from your mom. She's waving at you. Mothers never stop, guys. Even though they're on the other side, they don't interfere. But when they see an opportunity to inspire you or give you a message, if you're not hearing it in your own head, they'll send somebody like me to tell you. So anyway, Rudy, this woman like Mother's waving at you, and she's like, take care of you. Take care of yourself. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, just give me a call. Guys, if I pop in your head, if the universe it says you should call Marianne Goldweber, just do it. Just do it. Okay, don't put it off. That's the gang going, I want to talk to you. I want to give you ideas. So call Marianne. Okay, just book the damn session, Stephanie. Okay? What do you wait? How many dead people got to remind you to call me? Okay, guys? So if the universe is telling you to call me and schedule something, just do it. Like I said, you'll spend $60 on something else, but you won't invest in your own spiritual peace of mind, okay? And giving you a game plan. It's so incredibly inspiring, and it's so incredibly encouraging. I can't even tell you. They tell you where the blocks in the road are and what you need to do in order to remove those. And then they give you, it's just, and I'm a human being who's going to help you, encourage you, cheer you on. So, once I hear those messages, I'm like, oh my God, you can do this. Let's do this, So anyway, hold on. Who else is here? Okay. So Stephanie, there's all these animals here. Okay. you, so I don't know how many pets you have. Okay, but enough is enough. We need you out here in the world doing some other things. And you're so busy taking care of all these things that, yeah, people need you too. Okay, people need you too. So the animals are like, enough is enough. That's what they said exactly. Enough is enough when it comes to animals, whatever that is. So I don't know what that means. For me, it's like I was hearing half a conversation. Hey, Kim, thanks for joining me. This is for Karen. I'm sorry, guys. If I stop talking, it's because I'm listening. Okay, Karen, guys, sometimes they come as the collective, okay? It's not just one relative speaking for the group. It's the whole group speaking through one voice. And so, yeah, Karen, they're talking about getting back on a spiritual program. Okay, now, guys, some of you guys I've known forever, okay? So, guys, take out your tools, dust them off, and start doing these every day, okay? Every morning. Or, for me, mornings are easier, okay? By the time you're done with your day, I'd rather get the inspiration before I start my day. And so I have very specific tools that I use. But starting your day with that spiritual perspective puts all this human stuff into perspective, okay? So when you have that higher divine input, it prepares you for your day. And you don't take all these things personally. And it's also fun because they always send you confirmation during the day of what they told you that morning. And so when you sit in that meditative state, now some people use like the sacred path and the medicine cards. Some people have some kind of an oracle where they pull one card and they get an angel card, something. And so just sitting with that, or some daily meditation, picking one page and just reading the meditation for the day. And then just kind of journaling that. Okay, so because I feel like you're a little too enmeshed in this human world around you, and you're going to start losing sight of yourself. I guess, and not in a bad way, but just, you need to get back over here, because, those people, they'll deceive you into getting back, doing it their way. Okay. And you are so wise and you know so much, but you've got to reel it in. That's really basically what they're saying. So anyway, you guys are so cute, but I like them so much more than some other people. I understand, Stephanie. Okay. So animals are unconditional. But it's a give and take with people. People try to be unconditional, but they're not. We're human. You're human. Okay, we put up with things from you, just like you put up with things from me and us. And so this is where the beauty of working into interdependent relationships comes together. I have skills and tools and ways of looking at things that are different from yours. And so you have things that you see. Okay, but animals, they love you unconditionally, whether you're an asshole or not. Okay, and they'll co-sign your bullshit. Okay, they love you even when you're not on the path. So anyway, I love you. And so, yes, we need more people, and we need to, bring your beauty, your wonderful essence out here in the world with other people's. Okay, and there are nice people out there, Stephanie. There are. All right, kids, you guys are so funny. So anyway, schedule some time. It's so much fun. Because it's not always the people you expect that are bringing the message sometimes too. It could be your weird Uncle Bob. They have all new perspectives now that they're on the other side. And, each of our ancestors and relatives and guides brings a different talent and skill. I always joke that my biggest helpers are not my own ancestors because I've got history with them. Even though they're evolved, and I know that, I would take it much better coming from my 7-foot Iroquois friend than my own relatives, okay? Because I had a human relationship with them. So sometimes, it's ancestors, people you didn't know, And it's never always the people you expect, but it's always what you need. It's not always what you want, but the universe loves you completely and utterly unconditionally. And we're down here running with scissors, okay? So let's stop and willingly ask, what do I need to know? What do I need to know? Okay. And they will tell you the truth, because it's love. Truth is love. Okay. All right, kids. Well, thank you for tonight. I'm so grateful you joined me. If you'd like to donate something on my Venmo, just go to my website, mariannegoldweber.com, and drop a couple bucks. That'd be great. There's so much need in the world, and there's so many things going on. And so I'm grateful that I still have the ability to go out and do this work. So, and I love working with you guys. You guys are such an inspiration to me, and I'm so grateful for you following me and supporting me all these years. And so it does take a village. And, you know, the village is me too. I need a village, and just as much as everybody else does. And so having people of like minds who are unconditional and are willing, you know, that's a lot to be said in this world. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Keep the peace and pray for our world. And I look forward to hearing from you, Steph. Have a good night, guys. Peace.